Got this one in last week. Seat belts are cut. No clue why. Doesn't make any sense. Don't know what that is on the seat. Literally looks like this thing was burnt. You can see how that is right there. So it's like something literally went on the seat and burned it. Which makes no sense to me. But besides that, it's in really good shape on the inside. It does have lower miles. It is a four-wheel drive. It does have some body damage. Tailgate needs some work. Suspension needs some work. Upper control arm is bent. And it does have another issue that I'm going to show y'all once I get this thing up on the lift. Fender's bent. Ed's putting air in the tires. Somebody done a patch job on some rust. Mileage is 114,000. We haven't cranked it yet, so here in a second we're about to crank this thing up and see how it runs. So Ed's gonna stick the jump box on it. All right, let's get the key and see if she runs, y'all. Nothing. Doesn't even turn over. So we ain't got nothing. It doesn't even turn over. Was it in neutral?
No.
Or reverse? That would be it. And how did Ed get so smart? Don't sound good though. Why won't it go in park, I wonder? Huh. Well, she runs. Why it won't go in park? We'll figure that out. Tire pressure light, brake light.
Your emergency brakes down.
The door is ajar.
It's not a jar, it's a door.
It's ajar. It's like we ain't even got no brake. Oh yeah, there's no brake. It's just down.
There's a brake light.
It runs decent. Let's leave it running for a little while. Get some heat on in here. I'm gonna just sit in here and let you push me around back, Ed. Oh, it's got heated seats. You ain't turn mine on. You turned yours on. That one got heated.
Yeah, this one don't.
That's what I showed it a second ago. That one got heated, guys.
Oh, did you see the seatbelt?
Yeah, and look, if you look at that, fold that in. Fold that in this way. Like, it literally is perfect. Like, I don't get it. I don't get it at all. Oh, I bet that was all the way through here.
Yep, and then something burnt. They must have dropped their cigarettes on it or something.
I don't know. That just sucks balls for me because now I'm going to have to get another seat or put seat covers over it.
Got the overhead removable console?
Alright, let's try to get these other tires pumped up. Always put your windows down. Whenever you're getting a vehicle in from the auction, some of them auto lock, always put your windows down. Don't make that mistake. We've learned that over all the years. Never leave your freaking windows up. Try to get some air in this other tire. And then we're going to try to get a wheel on it at some point and see if she'll go around back.
Let's hope she pumps up like the front.
Probably is off the bead. She runs smooth though. Especially for a 5.4.
That's why they didn't put it on.
Was it hitting?
Yeah.
Well, at least, I mean, we got to try to get it around back.
I think it'll go. Go back up. Alright, let's put it.
That's how they pull it forward. We'll see if that bead will. You ain't get a flathead, did you?
I did not.
Okay. We'll just roll the wheel a 180. What's that? Oh yeah, it's pissing out brake fluid everywhere. Oh yeah. Oh, I bet a wheel's not even. I bet it's. Let's see here. Go ahead. Okay, hold on. I don't know what's going on. Oh, all right, never mind. Put it in park. It looked like it was all together, but the bottom ball joint's busted.
I thought it was.
Yeah, so, but it looked like it was all together. So we'll have to change a control arm out here. So Ed thought it was, but it looked like it was all together. So I tried it. So it looks like we'll be changing some of the suspension out here to at least get it out in the driveway. All right, so let's get started on this guy. So as you've seen in the beginning of this video, we found that it had a busted ball joint. So what we actually ended up doing was, and I wasn't here for the whole thing, is I had my guys completely put a whole nother suspension in this truck out in the parking lot. They had to fight with it because of the lower ears on the frame rail are bent, and get around here, it's got busted brake lines. Like literally, he had no brake. The truck won't go into park. We haven't figured that out yet. We haven't even looked into it. It's nothing to figure out. We haven't even looked into it. So he had no park, no brakes. So they literally had to get the suspension in out front, and then when it was time to pull it around back, he basically had one of my guys was driving it slowly, and then the other guy was standing beside him with a 4x4. So every time he wanted to stop, he chunked a block like that in front of the tire to stop it from rolling. So I told him that I wish I would have been here to get it on film, because I'm sure it was pretty interesting, but it's what you got employees for. You're not always here on the job. But this is my my department on the frame rack, and we have some pulling to do this morning. We're going to straighten out these lower ears. I'm going to show you what we got, and then we're going to do a pretty, hopefully a simple pull. It looks simple, but sometimes it's not. So your frame ears, you can see that they're bowed out. They're supposed to be a 90, so they're supposed to be straight down like this. And when the accident happened and it hit everything, it buckled the upper control arm pretty bad, and it sheared the ball joint off the bottom, but it didn't damage the bottom control arm. We went ahead and replaced the whole thing with a junkyard assembly. Like I bought everything I bought out of a junkyard right here. That way I don't take a chance of anything being bent. The only thing I have to check is my frame. I don't have to worry about none of this stuff being bent because I replace everything. That's often the easiest way to do it if you can score a deal for everything on one side. So we got to straighten these ears out. As you can see, they're back. These front ears right here are going to be the easiest. They're the easiest to get to. This one's going to be the easiest, and then this one gets a little bit more complicated. But then as we step back, they get more and more complicated. So you can see how bad that one is twisted up. You can see how bad that one's blowed out. That one should be, that right there should be about right here, not over there. So they're pretty tore up, and that one's pretty all buckled up. The problem is the chain, goes in a straight line. So this one's cake to pull. Then this one, your chain doesn't go around this, so you have to use a J-hook basically, or you have to use like a 90-degree bracket. And I have a couple of them. I have one like this big guy right here that we've welded together with a clamp on the end of it. That's a 90. There's a 90, and then we also have this big Mamma Jamma J-hook. And I don't have all the tools in the world. This is my frame rack board. Some guys have a huge frame rack board with all a bunch of nice tools. When I went and bought my frame rack used, the guy was going to sell me a board, and when he told me the price, I was like, absolutely not. I was like, we can build a bunch of our tools ourselves. Perfectly capable of building our own stuff or buying it off eBay. All these come off eBay. So don't let people just sell you crap. We built this clamp too, so it's pretty basic. You put some popcorn weld crap in there and drill it through and weld one side, and it clamps itself shut. It works the same as basically this one. So but a lot of these I bought off of eBay. We built this one for pulling door frames, drop bolts. This basically has, you know, enough attachment where you put it right here in the door frame, and you can just pull the door frame right out. You're gonna learn on this channel fast. I'm not paying people for crap that I can make. So we did buy the C-clamp. I bought you know, these little things. They come in decent, but they're actually not used often at all. They're probably one of the least used. That's my favorite for pulling fenders, stuff like this. You can just clamp it around there real fast, tighten up, pull it, move it, tighten it up, pull it. You know, and I got other just random stuff that we've used, you know, that we kind of just make it case by case real fast and then just leave it on the board. Backing plates if you need to go on the inside of something. So anyway, we're gonna get in here, figure out how to make this pull. I've done these before on these Fords. These Fords right here are terrible for this whenever they get hit in the suspension. So if you're looking to buy one of these body styles right here, then you need to be aware that it is very common if it gets nailed in the suspension to fold them arms back or them ears back. Them ears are extremely weak. So normally on these, you actually don't have much problem in the frame rail. If you go back and watch the black LTZ Chevy Silverado I did, it was kinked in the rail. The Chevys are real bad about kinking on the rail, but the Fords are not. The Fords, I haven't seen too many of them kink on the rail. It's always the ears just completely collapse and take the blow. So, which is kind of cool. There's no damage in there. But yeah, so we're gonna get them straightened out. So let me show you the little issue that we have that I told you in the parking lot under this truck that we're gonna have to fix also, or not fix, we're gonna patch it, because I don't know if there's really any real fixing that. Look at that crap. This thing is a complete rust bucket. You can see through the frame. Okay, let me back y'all out so you understand where you're at. Okay, there's the driver's door. There's the frame rail. I mean, this is terrible. I can't believe somebody was driving this. You know, this is crazy. And what happens right here, how this is buckled up, is this is probably from the forklift again at IAA. When they go to load it, the forks carry the weight here and just completely squish this. So all of this is just completely rusted out. So there's a lot of rust issues going on. So I know it's kind of hard to see. Let me see if I can get you over there. Okay, you see how bad the side of them rails are? Yeah, it's terrible. So what we're gonna do is, man, so look, I guess that's how my guys jammed it in there to keep it from rolling off. And it is jammed in there. If it works, right? So what we're gonna do is actually go to the metal yard and get some either square tubing and rip the top out of it, or 2 strips of 90. And we're basically gonna, you know, get rid of some of the crap that's in the way, and then we're just gonna scab over top of it. Put a 90 like this, put a 90 on the inside like that, or if we can find square tubing that we can rip the top out and it'll make a U shape and slip it up over the rail, we'll do that, and then weld it in, and that will be as good as you're gonna get on this without replacing the frame, and we're just not willing to replace the frame. So the frame actually is good from here all the way back to this dip. This is all solid through here. It's actually double plated from the factory. There's no issues in there. There's no issues really in here. You got some surface rust, but you don't develop your holes in your frame coming apart until actually up in there. So we plan to just double plate from about right here at this cross member, and all this is actually, that's not a cross member, all that is a skid plate to protect your transfer case. It's just a skid plate. Your cross member's up here. So we plan to double plate probably from this skid plate all the way back to where it goes up, and just double plate on the sides. You know, you got tons of room. You can run your plate up to here or so and get into some fresh meat that's not rusty. It'll put some strength back into the bottom of that rail. Where it goes uphill, there's actually no rust. There's surface rust from a vehicle being up north, you know, like you would expect, but it's not rusted through, and there's no weak points back there. So it's just all down here in this lower rail. So what Mike said, it makes sense, and what I think also is that, you know, either salt water or whatever just ran in. I don't know if they used it for putting boats in or up north. It looks like it come from up north. and run in and just sat in the bottom of this rail and just rusted everything out. So your rockers are not even rusted out. They're rusty, they're soft right there, but they're not gone. Like, so it's kind of weird, because normally if you'd have that extreme amount of rust damage, then normally you would have rockers completely gone, and these are not gone. I mean, they need to be replaced, and they're soft, but you don't physically see holes in them yet, and normally you would. So that's going to have to also be done. So this one is one of the ones that suck. This is not my granddad's truck. If you watch the videos on the one I bought for my granddad, that we did the paint work on and blended it, this is not the same truck. They look the exact same color, almost the same year. Let's dive right into this, fixing this rails. I just kind of wanted to catch y'all up on this thing, because I know I completely missed a bunch of video, but really it sat in the parking lot forever between cold weather and not having the parts, and one of my guys was out, you know, just all kinds of stuff. So let's get this frame pulled done. So like I just said, that we make tools for the frame machine, and Mike's over here crying that this simple 5-minute job is going to take him freaking 15-20 minutes. So now I'm going to be standing around. I can't make my frame pull or nothing until he makes this new tool that we need. See, he's all
be productive somewhere else.
That's all they do is cry about stuff. So he's gonna make this tool, and then we're gonna pull it. If you want to see how he makes that tool, go jump on his channel and he'll show you how he makes that tool for this frame pull, because I'm not gonna use any of the ones I got. Last time I did it, the problem I had was some of these were slipping off and they just didn't hold as great as I wanted. They still worked. I got the job done, but then I had a good idea this morning on what really worked. So he's gonna throw that tool together real fast, hopefully, and not sit over there and scroll Facebook and TikTok all morning, and then I can get this frame pull done. On the truck, we just have it chained. I just got it chained to the cross member on this side, chain wrapped around it, and it yanked down there. And then on this side, I actually just used my frame machine, throw a chain on the tow hook. This is a pretty solid point in front of your frame horn, and then tighten this ram up so that it's pulling back. And then I might throw something over the rear axle just to kind of help make the vehicle stable. But even though these are pretty strong, they still don't take much to pull them forward. I mean, you definitely don't want to try to manhandle that by hand, but when you have a frame machine, it's not like you got to get crazy with strapping the vehicle down. So that's my basic setup for right now. It's just one chain back like that, then one chain over like that, and then we'll use one of these rams to pull it this way. It should walk. So as you can see, we got our tabs straightened all back out, and they are still a little wavy. You know, it's not gonna be perfect. Now when you clamp a lot of these in there, they'll definitely pull back straight. But this is our old one with the broken ball joint. All I'm using it for is just a test fit to make sure that my spread on them is right, because I don't feel like lifting this heavy thing up, you know, to get it where I can test fit it in. So this is just sitting in here loosely, as you can see with your hands. Well, yeah, okay. You can see it just comes right in and out. It's not like it's beat in there or nothing. It goes right in. I put it in there by hand, and that's it on that pull. We just got to load the whole front end back together and get all this button back up, and then we'll actually get this thing off the frame rack, drive it some, make sure transmission shifts, because we've got all the way to this point, got all these hours in it. We don't even know if the transmission shifts or, you know, if it runs and drives on the road good. So we're gonna get the suspension back in it and drive it some before we move on with patching the metal or taking any of the collision stuff apart. So on this hub, we actually were going to put all this stuff together, and you can actually see that this is cracked right here. So Eddie caught this at the very last minute, right before he was going to start putting it together. And you can see where the stress has actually busted the ear off of the hub from the spindle being cracked. You see the spindle being cracked in half, and this was out of the junkyard, off of a truck that was not wrecked. I've talked to the guy with junkyard, and it was not wrecked or whatever, so I'm thinking it's a common problem. But if you look back here on the wrecked one, which we knew that was an issue, the wrecked one is split right there in the same exact spot. So now I'm starting to think that that this is actually a defect, possibly in Ford. I mean, I understand this one took a hard hit. It failed right there, but they both failed literally in the same exact spot. And that one that's on the truck now is not wrecked. So I'm wondering if anybody else has had a problem with that on the Ford's F-150s. Comment and let me know, because we haven't done a ton of these. But now what we're going to have to do is, since we've never drove this thing, the junkyards here, I don't have another one of them available, so I've got to order one off eBay. So we've got to put that together using the broke part, because we've done our frame pull. So it went up here for the purposes of the frame pull. That's why it's up on the rack. And then we're going to fix the brake line back here is leaking, and up front while it's up here. So we're going to have to put all that in, leave that broken part in to get it off the frame rack so we can drive it around the industrial part to see if it shifts, because I've made it all the way this far and still don't know if this thing has a good transmission or anything. You just can't really tell until you actually drive it. And then if it shifts and everything goes smooth on the test drive, then we will finally move on to starting collision work on the bedsides and ordering a replacement fender, replacement flare, and then go get the metal to patch the frame and everything. So on a truck like this, a lot of times they eat up a lot of your time and take a long time because of the different steps you have to do, because you don't want to just start repairing everything on it, which we did when I first started out. We did a couple where we repaired everything on it and then went to take it for its first spin after it was repaired, and then it has a bad transmission. So believe it or not, you'll be blown away when you start flipping these cars of how many people are out driving around with bad transmissions that are slipping or missing a gear or whatever, you know, and then they get in an accident and basically they just hit the lottery. But we got a lot of stuff like this to clean up. You know, I mean, somebody overspray spray paint everywhere. It's terrible what people do to their vehicles, but that's the crap that we have to come when you buy a flip car, and you have to come by and fix all the crap that everybody else has done. That way you can have a presentable looking vehicle to sell.